Hey, welcome back to the Butterfly Empire. It is me, a Butterfly Queen. And this lovely Saturday, let's just say we're interviewing Matthew J. Hoffman. Because, this is a weird one to me. Because the killer stuffed his house with leaves, kept kidnapped girl on bed of leaves. So, let's get this party started in here, aight? The Ohio man found guilty of holding a 13-year-old girl hostage after killing a family and stuffing their dismembered bodies in a hollow tree had an obsession with trees and leaves. Police documents show. Pictures of Matthew Hoffman's home revealing a living room stuffed with leaves, a bathroom lined with more than 100 bags of leaves, and a freezer that contained only a couple of red popsicles and 2 dead squirrels. Hoffman, who is age 30, is serving a life sentence for 3 murders and for the kidnapping and raping of the teen. The 2 police officers from Mount Vernon, Ohio, who first entered Hoffman's home in November 2010, discovered mountains of leaves so high they feared that bodies could be buried underneath them. So much runs through my mind. Hoffman had already killed and dismembered Tina Herman, her 11-year-old son, Cody Maynard, and Herman's friend, Stephanie Sprang. Police found Herman's 13-year-old daughter in the basement of Hoffman's home. She was bound hand and foot and was confined to a makeshift bed of leaves. Hoffman, an unemployed tree trimmer, confessed to investigators that he had made the bed of leaves and covered it with blankets. He told investigators that the little girl liked that bed. It was extremely comfy, and I wanted to sleep on it. While holding the girl hostage, he gave his victim the book Treasure Island to read and watch the movie Iron Man with her. According to his confession, he also admitted raping the girl, who was found by police wearing a white plastic bag that had holes cut out for her legs, that she was wearing like a makeshift diaper, according to case files. Moments after her rescue, the girl told police that she was late for school and asked if they could take her to school. Unaware that Hoffman had murdered her mother and brother, the girl told police that she feared Hoffman had killed their dog. Hoffman would later confess to killing that dog because it was non-stop barking. The girl also told police that the suspect cut her finger with a knife, unusually gagged her, and that he was going to release her before Christmas, according to records. Well known as Hoffman's obsession with leaves, which shows a sign of mental illness, Knox County prosecutor John Thacker said that the hundreds of bags of leaves found in the home were not connected to the murders. Knox County has never seen a case like this before. It has to rank there in Ohio history as one of the worst homicide cases, Thacker said. Forensic psychologists said that Hoffman's obsession with leaves and trees were indication of mental illness and delusion. If trees gave him comfort at all and were familiar at all, that would explain why he would put bodies in the tree. Psychologists call the obsession with leaves bizarre and unique from other convicted murders. It certainly suggests that he is likely to be mentally ill as compared to other killers who showed up in the news, like serial killers or psychopaths. Serial killers, from a professional point of view, they are not mentally ill, they have character disturbances, but they know what they're doing is wrong. They take too much pleasure, too much gratification to stop. It would take talking to him to find out what it means. Hoffman's delusions are very elaborate delusions related to trees, what tree produced, began in and around the trees, putting people in trees. Hoffman was an unemployed tree cutter and never said that the trees were only 2 trees near his home. He couldn't have possibly got that many leaves from that tree, so he had to haul leaves from somewhere. I never saw him raking, neighbors said. He used to play around the trees a lot out there, throwing ropes in the trees, had like a hammock out there. Other people said that Henderson would shoot squirrels to eat. He was killing the squirrels because he doesn't grocery shop. He would actually kill the squirrels to eat them. They realized documents showed that the police take hours of conversation with Hoffman saying little. It was a bad dream that prompted him to confess. Hoffman told the investigators that he'd had a dream about being at a food processing plant. Hoffman said he opened a trash bag at the food processing plant and saw cut up body parts, and he got a knot in his stomach, and it all came back to him. Hoffman asked an investigator to allow him to write the location of the bodies on a piece of paper and then shoot him in a faked escaped attempt. Okay then. When police said they wouldn't agree to his terms, he shut up for 2 more days before telling police where to find the bodies. The home full of leaves is in foreclosure, according to court records. Wells Fargo's bank initiated the processing on January 28th. In confession, he says he threatened teen hostages as well. Matthew Hoffman chose the house he wanted to burglarize, and then he waited. Just before he took 3 lives and charged a teenage girl forever, Hoffman spent the night in the woods across from Tina Herman's isolated Knox County home, bundled in a sleeping bag to ward off the cold of November night. He watched the split-level house. He dozed sometimes after 9 a.m. November 10th, a Wednesday, he saw Herman leave. Hoffman sneaked across the road and slipped under the overhead garage door, which wasn't completely closed. He swears that he went inside only to steal. He said he was excited by just being in someone else's house alone. But before the day was over, Hoffman, a 30-year-old unemployed ex-con, had killed Herman, her 11-year-old son, and Herman's best friend and neighbor, 41-year-old Stephanie Spring. He also kidnapped a 13-year-old girl, sexually assaulted her, and held her hostage until authorities, after days of old-fashioned police work, raided Hoffman's home near downtown Mount Vernon about 8 a.m. the following Sunday and rescued her. Knox County prosecutor John Thatt told Hoffman that he wouldn't seek a death sentence if there were a suspect who would tell where he had hidden the bodies of the victims if he would give a full written confession. Hoffman agreed on November 18th, directed investigators to a 60-foot-tall hollow tree in the Cocosine Wildlife Area near Fredericktown. Inside the tree, detectives found the mutilated bodies of the 3, as well as the remains of the family dog. Hoffman, an avid outdoorsman, who was apparently obsessed with trees and leaves, later told authorities that he used a rig and pulley system that he regularly used to climb trees to get to the top of the hollow tree and drop the bodies inside. On January 6th, he pleaded guilty to 10 felonies, including aggravated murder, rape, and was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. His 4-page first-person confession and the entire investigative file, all released yesterday, offer excruciating details of what happened at Herman King's beach drive home and what followed in the days after. The file doesn't make sense of the senseless clue, but it does offer the first public peek into the mind of the man who went from burglar to mass murderer in a matter of hours. Although he coldly recounts gruesome details of the murders, Hoffman seems to have convinced himself that in 4 days he held the teenage girl in his Columbus road home. But he was a nice guy. The Dispatch has previously published the girl's name but is no longer identifying her because she was a victim of sexually assault. Although he coldly recounts gruesome details of the murder, Hoffman seems to have against himself that in 4 days he held a teenage girl, that he was a nice guy. Hoffman tells of how he let her play Wii games, how they watched Iron Man movies, both the first and the second movie together, and how he gave her a copy of the novel Treasure Island to pass the time. He said he cooked hamburgers for her and slept with his arms around her. He appears to believe that he showed her some compassion. He promised her that she will be okay, he said, and she would be home playing with her family by Christmas. It's a lie, apparently, because they were all dead. He showed her the definition of ransom in a dictionary and told her that he was negotiating with her family. I would have not hurt her. I could not hurt her. He said in the question which he dictated to his defense attorney, I plan on giving her more and more freedom until she ran away. He recounts how he bound her hands and feet with both rope and duct tape when investigators broke through a door in Hoffman's home on November 14th and found the girl She was alive, but bound on a bed made of tree leaves and blankets in the dark corner of the home's basement. The door to the basement had been barricaded with a sewing cabinet. Thatcher, the prosecutor, said that Hoffman is just building himself up in his mind and that at his core he's nothing more than a calculated criminal with no remorse. His perception of himself is self-serving. He may well believe he treated her like a house guest, but she was a kidnapped victim. The father of Cody and the teenage girl has read the confession. He said he doesn't believe most of Hoffman's story about how he cared for the girl. Mayra said he still has a million questions and no answer. Why would he not tell us the truth? Why would he even care? Even from behind bars, he's still controlling the situation. Hoffman stands by his story and he didn't mean any more harm. Herman in the spring, just minutes later, surprised him after he'd been there for only an hour. He was concerned. Oh well. At this time, I was in total state of shock. I wandered around the house, slowly coming to realization that I had done and how bad it was. He said he had no plan, that he ran through his choices, yet he had come armed with a hunting knife. He was in the middle of what we call processing the bodies in Holmes' bathroom when the children returned from school. It surprised him too. Hoffman said the girl ran to her room and he killed Cody just inside the front door. Using an electric cord from the fan, he tied up the girl and left her in the kitchen. It appears that she never saw the rest of the house, which was like a scene from a horror movie. It seems that Hoffman moved quickly the first night rigging the pulley equipment. He left the girl alone in his house and then taken the bodies out to the woods. Various times, he used several vehicles, his own, Herman's Ford pickup truck, and Sprang's vehicle to move around. He walked from location to location twice as well and rode his bike. One thing he hadn't counted on, however, was an investigation so soon. Thursday morning, Herman's boss went by her home and saw the blood. That triggered a full-scale missing person investigation. Deputies finally leaked everything when they found, while still examining Herman's home, a Walmart bag with 2 tarps, a box of 55-gallon heavy-duty trash bag. They went to a store, watched surveillance videos, saw the man who had bought the tarps. They saw what he drove, realized the man the deputy had talked to in the park that night drove the same car, and were pretty sure they had the man. Footprints outside the Herman house led investigators to believe that someone, a woman or a girl, with a size 7.5 shoe, had left the house alive with the attacker. Was she still alive? They knew where Hoffman lived, and they just had to go get him. The Confession of Matthew Hoffman. I parked my car in Harvard. I walked from there to the house. I got to the woods across the street from the house a little after midnight. I slept across the street from the house that night in a sleeping bag. I woke up at daylight. There were 2 vehicles parked at the house during the night, and I saw that the gray car had left. I went back to sleep until around 9 on Wednesday morning. I stayed there until a woman left in a pickup truck. This meant there were no vehicles at the house. I walked across the street and tried to enter the front door, but it was locked. I went in through the garage door. The garage door was closed all the way, so I slid underneath it into the garage. I kicked the door into the house from the garage. By this time, it was approximately 10:30 Wednesday morning. I looked across the house to make sure no one was there. Even if I did not take anything, there was a certain amount of excitement in being in someone else's house without them being there. I was looking for anything of value that could be carried out easily. Money, jewelry, etc. I did not find anything of real value. I was getting ready to leave, as I had been there approximately an hour. Someone pulled into the driveway. I was back in the bedrooms when she entered the house, and I was unable to exit without breaking a window or trying to jump out. I had brought my knife from a certain amount of intimidation in case I ran into someone and needed to make an escape. When she made her way back into the bedroom, I confronted her and made her get onto the bed, lying face down. I believed that we were in her bedroom. I had a blackjack. I was going to try to knock her out. I hit her a couple of times in the head, but this one not knock her out. It was not doing the job, and I had started panicking. The next thing that I knew, her friend came into the bedroom. I had no idea when she got there, what she was doing there, and how she gained access. The other woman yelled at me. There were now two to deal with, and I did not know what to do. I grabbed the knife that I had put down on the nightstand and stabbed the woman on the bed through her back twice. I chased the other woman down, which was Stephanie, stabbed her a couple of times in the chest. Instead of running out of the house, she ran into another bedroom. I believe this bedroom was for a girl due to the contents of the room. I then went back to the other bedroom where the first woman was located and stabbed her a couple more times. I could not tell that both women were dead. At this time, I was in total state of shock. I wandered around the house slowly, coming to the realization that I had done and how bad it was. During this time, I killed the dog because it was not stop barking. After a while, I came to the conclusion that I was going to dispose of the bodies and burn the house down. At first, I thought about loading the bodies into the vehicle, driving it into a foundation park pond. I would swim away as the vehicle sank, but I felt that it was too cold and I might not be able to make it out of the water. I decided to process the bodies and dispose of them inside a tree that I knew was hollow. I took the bodies into the bathroom and began processing the bodies to dispose of them. I used garbage bags from within the house, placed the bodies inside. Once I had finished processing the bodies, I moved the Jeep into the garage to load up the bodies. I still had a couple of bags to load into the Jeep when I heard the children come into the house. I confronted the children, and the girl instantly ran to the bedroom. I stabbed the boy in the chest a couple of times. I ran to the bedroom after the girl to make sure she was not on the phone for help. I saw the girl was not on the phone, and I could not bring myself to kill her. I did not enter the house to kill the people. I did not know a single one of them. I did not know their names, and I did not know who all lived in that house. I chose the house to break into because there's not any close neighbors. I noticed the garage door was ajar. I chose the house just the day before. I did not plan any of this to happen. I did not want to kill anyone. And I tried to knock the first woman out so I would be able to escape. This was not working. The second woman showed up, and things quickly spiraled out of control. They kept escalating, and I was panicking. I only chose to process the bodies to make sure their disposal was easier. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Saturday. Join me next Saturday to see what happens with the murder squad, Jensen and Holes. Pretty sure you'll be excited to know what it was. Can you tell me what you love about crime? Can you tell me what you wanna know? I can give you what you need. Do you wanna know about the murder? Who died first?
Purchase your tracks today.
I wonder if they're still alive. Do you wanna know what they did first? Now can you tell me? Now can you tell me? How do you feel about this? Is it just what we feel?